Earlier this week, we had to make a difficult decision to put down our dog, Amica, who is 14 and a half years old. And she is the last of the dogs. Some of you may remember the video with Magnus, our other dog, who we had to put down about a year and a half ago. So this is a video that's kind of a tribute to somebody who was a big part of our life here. This video is pretty long because there was a lot of time, in fact 10 years, that we got to spend together as part of what my wife calls our four-legged family. And with Amica passing, now we're down to just one member of that, Sassy the cat, who you'll see in just a bit. Magnus, who you see here with Amica when they were both quite young, was Amica's older brother and helped to pick her out, and they were more or less inseparable. Two different types of dogs, both black lab mixes, but Magnus with flat coat retriever and Amica with Catahoula leopard hound, and two different personalities, but very close with each other. And as you can see in these pictures, mostly from Kingston, where we lived, they spent a lot of time hanging out with each other and engaging with each other. Amica was a pretty cool dog, and you can kind of get a sense of just how powerful she was. She was 110 pounds at her peak, looking at her arms and legs here in this picture. When she was young, she was a dog of incredible energy. As you can see her here tearing, I think it's an old shirt apart, just for play. And then soon you can see her also at play with, here we go, Baxter, the landlord's or neighbor's dog, who she really liked spending time with after she got used to him. And we called them the three amigos, actually, her and Magnus and Baxter. You see her playing fairly gently, and then here comes Magnus checking things out, getting himself into the mix in just a little bit. And they're doing what we call mouth fencing. Magnus wanting to get involved, and now Baxter's trying to stir some things up with Magnus, who's over there. And those three would spend a lot of time with each other, playing around, enjoying themselves, lounging. I mentioned our four-legged family, and there were four members to that. You can see all of them here on the bed, Amica and Magnus, and then the two cats who were both sisters, the older ones rescued from a fire, Sassy, who we still have, and Teensy. Teensy is the one who's a little bit compressed behind the pillow. And now here's some other shots of them all together hanging out. This was something that they would do quite frequently. They'd spend a good part of the day just laying around together.
How you doing, old girl?
Here's Amica playing with Baxter, who's trying to get her interested in the ball that he has.
You gonna get him?
Those three would often spend a lot of time together out in the yard. Here you can see them just hanging out in the sunlight. And then here's them playing one of their favorite games, three-way tug of war, which sometimes Amica would get into and sometimes not. One of her favorite toys back then were these big, heavy Kongs that you could throw around the yard. And you'll see her now tussling with Magnus over one of them. Tug of war was also a very favored indoor sport as well, as you can see here. And Magnus would pull her back even though he was lighter than her. He had greater jaw strength and I think leverage.
Get me.
Mika's a little bit bemused at this point. New York winters would dump a lot of snow into the yard, and you can see them hanging out and playing in the snow. And then afterwards...
Come on, let's go.
Magnus and I would blaze the trails, and Amica would follow behind because she wasn't quite as good at getting around in the snow as he was. And sometimes you see him kind of punking her, trying to get her to engage with him as they're going in the yard. But she really loved being out there with him and going wherever the trails would allow her to. So this is kind of a long clip where you can see just how far these trails went and how much fun she would have sniffing around
Come on,
and
Mika.
checking everything out.
Come on, big girl. Come on, Maggie. Come on, Mika. Good girl. Come on, let's go. Come on, guys, let's go. Get him, Mika.
Once we moved back here to Milwaukee, we had to take them for walks several times a day, and actually they really enjoyed the exercise. Magnus was a little bit of a boss. He liked to pull on Amica's leash and sort of walk her, and you can see him carrying that out here. He also went after his own leash occasionally, as you see him doing here too. And Amica very good-naturedly put up with it. That didn't seem to faze her too much. See Magnus getting quite excited without the leash. We would go walk sometimes for miles at a time here in the downtown of Milwaukee, going over to the East Town area and other parts of West Town, going down to the 3rd Ward, going further north. Here you see something cool that happened on the Riverwalk, and I think it's largely attributable to Magnus. Amica was a Katrina puppy and was quite afraid of water, so going by the river was a bit of a scary prospect for her, but you notice that she eventually starts taking an interest in getting a bit bolder when it comes to putting herself out there, and she did change quite a bit over time. While Magnus was still healthy enough to take walks, they were pretty inseparable. You see them here in the winter, and now you see them doing one of their favorite things, which was after the farmer's market, devouring some of the kettle corn that was left after the person picked up his steaks and moved the tent and all of that sort of stuff. Once they realized that kettle corn was tasty, you couldn't keep them out of it. Here's Maddie several years ago helping to walk them, and you notice Magnus sticks right by him, and Amica is the one who's pulling the leash, ready to get out in advance. And she was quite a handful to try to manage. She was still quite big at that time, probably 95 pounds or so, and all muscle.
Mary. Maggie. Aw, check around your butt. Okay, Maggie wants to go this way, Mika. Okay, Maggie, just looking for something.
Here we are again on the Riverwalk, and this time she's watching the ducks, both her and Magnus, quite excited about the birds and wanting to, know what they were. She's also become quite interested in geese in recent years too. This is her walking much more recently. You notice the big limp. She had fat tumors that got in the way of full range of motion, and by this time she was getting pretty lame in her back legs, both due to atrophy of the muscles and arthritis and perhaps some neurological stuff. But you notice how happy she is getting out to take a walk, being in the open air. She really had a great spirit. We can't really say that she appreciates modern art as such, but she was very interested in this sculpture that was put outside of the Wisconsin Center, which is diagonal across the intersection to our apartment building. And when it came in, she really wanted to know what it was. Amica was also an incredibly social dog, and you see her here dressed up in her costume for a pet Halloween party that we had in our apartment building.
You look better than Mama in this shirt.
She also attended a party that there were going to be other pets at. She was the first one there, and we think that she thought the party was particularly for her. She went down there with our dog walker and enjoyed herself. Then we showed up, and you can see how happy she is about everything going on there.
She's like, there's food. You having fun, Amica? She's like, this is awesome. Mika. Miki. Hey, look at the mama. I think she honestly thinks this is all for her. Like, look at the people that came to my party. Look at Sassy.
She liked being out here in the snow in our Wisconsin winters, taking walks and being out sometimes in the blustery environment. Here she's in her little coat that we got her to wear for that, and you can see the snow blowing at this time. Pretty soon you'll start to see her taking a pause and doing one of her favorite things in the snow, which is eating snow. And she was not always as picky as we'd like about which snow she would indulge in. At least here, it's relatively clean snow that she's licking up. What do you think, Pika Pie? Like the snow? What do you think, old girl? Is that good? Like your little ice cream? We have a park that's only a block from our apartment as well, and they always put out Christmas decorations that people come to take pictures with. And Amica is fascinated by the things themselves and probably the smells of other dogs. One of the perks of the place that we live in is that they put out dog cookies for dogs at the office. So here she is having some of those and enjoying them quite a bit. It's quite nice that they do that. Here we go. Some more cookies for her. After having her snack, it's time to make our way to the elevator and get back upstairs so that we can settle in after the winter walk. To the very end, she was a very food-centric dog. You can see her here. I think I have a cookie in my hand, and she's prancing along, waiting for her chance to get it. I'll show you now another thing that she was particularly known for.
Because I will always want to remember that you do this. Show me how you kill it. Come on. Don't be shy. You can do it. What are you doing there? You're killing the cardboard? Good. It's okay. Not peeking. What's it, girl? Show me. Show me. What? Get that. Get that thing.
We ordered and got a really nice leather couch very affordably, and it didn't take too long before Amica decided that it was her couch, even though she wasn't supposed to be up there on the couch. And you can see here her settled in, and then she also gets caught from time to time as well. Hi, Mika. Is that where you're supposed to be? On the couch? On the leather couch? Do you mess things up with your paws? Do you like it there? What do you think? What do you think, Pikachu? Oh, you're just gonna settle in and take it easy there? Yeah? Are you a good girl? Are you a bad girl? What kind of girl are you? Are you good or bad? Where do you belong? Do you belong there on the couch? Is that where you belong? What do you think? Oh, look who it is. Hi, Mika. Are you busted? Is that where you're supposed to be? That's okay. You're a good girl. Yeah. You can be on the couch. Yeah, good girl. That's a good girl. Peek-a-pie.
You can share with her. Don't sit on her though. It's okay, Sassy, you can stay. You guys good friends? What's the matter? Is he on your couch? Did he mistake this for an opportunity for him to nap? You can get him off of there?
Don't you want to cuddle? Don't you like to cuddle anymore? No, you don't cuddle?
Tell him what you want. Come on, move, dude. Come on. Okay, that was nice. Now get off. Move it. Oh, little piggy. Poor pigs. Poor piggy. Oh, such a sweet girl. Oh, big girl.
This is one of the last times that she was able to get herself up onto the couch, even with some help, after her first seizure, which she recovered from. She just wasn't interested in that. And this is close to the end, and I think I was thinking about what was coming before too long. We also used to go out on a couch on the sun deck that our apartment complex has, and we'd go for a walk and then come in, head up there and hang out on the couch. She really enjoyed being out there and doing that, so quite nice to hang out there with her. Here's us out at one of the local dog parks. You can tell she's not walking all that well and she can't run very much anymore, but she still enjoyed being outside and getting to see other dogs and hanging out. So that was one of the last times that we were out there, and she's just kind of following along. If it were when she was younger, she would have been tearing around, you probably wouldn't even be able to track her that easily with the camera. I mentioned she was a really food-oriented dog, so you can see her in her element in this shot.
Oh, you're going to try and knock stuff out of there? This is a new food that you've never eaten in your life. It's called gnocchi. Kind of like, hey, what the hell? They're like cookies, but they're not cookies, Mommy. Try it. Try the Nokes. You eat one? Oh, you're burying for later? Not sure about Nokes? Oh, okay. Oh, you rolled down the hill. Oh, you rolled them both down the hill. Yes. To slice into the salad. What about the gnocchi? You're like, it smelled so much better, and yet. Oh, Pete, you gonna give Panda the gnocchi? Oh, it's not buried enough, huh? It's still too visible? Okay, baby. Why don't you try to eat one? You wanna try to eat one of those guys? No, you're still burying. It's really buried. Oh, look at, oh, we did not like that. Or maybe we do like it? What do you think? Yeah, she had it in her mouth. Oh. Well, we may come back to it. It's hard to say. Do you need a hand with your nose? Huh? What do you think? Gonna eat a gnocchi? Okay, it's like super buried. Yep. Okay, you eating it? Nope. You're like licking it, eating it? Oh. That is not a happy mouth face. Oh, peaky. I don't know. I don't think you like it. Okay.
She also liked to watch TV from time to time.
Others willing to coexist, but will respond in the same way. So it's meaning two things. It's meaning friendly intentions. I'm approaching you in a friendly way. I'm not about to attack you. And it's also acknowledging a difference in status, if you like. I'm not saying that cats have a mental conception, an abstract conception of status, but they clearly do.
Picky, look. There it is again. There they are.
She and Sassy the cat became very close friends, particularly after Magnus died. And here you can see them hanging out together in a lot of different places. They enjoyed napping together and just, enjoying each other's company. Here they're drinking water together, just hanging out side by side. Sassy, for some reason, really likes eating dog kibble more than her own food, and here you can see both of them enjoying a little snack together as well. Towards the end, she really couldn't walk all that far, but every once in a while she would get a burst of energy and decide she was going to take me for a walk instead of following behind me. And here's one case where she's deciding to walk down Michigan Avenue, and we're seeing where she wants to go. Why do you want to go over here? What is it you want? You want to eat a cookie? You don't want to go home? You want to roam? What do you think? Can we turn around and go home or not? What are you trying to find? What is it you want? Come on, let's go home. Come on. Come on, baby girl. No? Okay. Where are we going now? Where are we going? Is this your block? Are you ready? Okay. What did you find over here? She couldn't go very far most times, but fortunately it's spring and there's grass for her to gnaw on, which she enjoyed quite a bit. Here you go. Jaw strength was really diminished, but she could still snap twigs, and you can tell how much she enjoys that.
Here you go. You show that stick. Yeah. Oh, you show it who's boss. Good girl. There you go.
Amica was a really great dog, and I am very happy that I got to spend as much time with her as I did. None of us expected her to last this long and to be in good spirits for nearly all of that time, particularly after her brother was put down a year and a half before her. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about Amica. I'm going to miss her a lot, and so is everybody else in our household.